Hey, welcome to the We're Better Together podcast. I'm Ian Stevenson.
And I'm Daniel Arduña. We come from different backgrounds, but we're working together. So our goal is to help you navigate being better together in the various sectors of your life by bringing you a once-a-month interview and some stimulating thoughts on the weeks in between.
We hope this podcast keeps you tracking on building something better together, whether it's your marriage, your family, your workplace. We want to serve you. So here's today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the We're Better Together podcast. Ian Stevenson, Daniel Arduña here. Today, we're getting ready to head into Thanksgiving. We want to talk about something that you can actually use at your Thanksgiving gathering to make sure that it is really a great time and it helps pull your family together. But first of all, we got to talk about Daniel's jersey. Daniel, you got your USA jersey on. That's pretty cool. I want to just affirm you for wearing the U.S. jersey the week before a big game. Like this Friday, they play England, right?
They play England. World Cup starts. And yeah, we're talking about gratitude. Hopefully I'm thankful when Friday's done that we maybe have beat England, which would be massive, you know. But yeah, it's an exciting week. It's Thanksgiving Thursday. Black Friday, we get U.S. England. Lots of people, the world will be watching. It's going to be good.
That's awesome. Well, today we're talking about affirmations. So heading into Thanksgiving, that's appropriate. So why don't you talk a little bit about your thoughts on affirmations and how they tie in even to Thanksgiving or beyond?
Yeah, I think Ian, you, me, anybody I know can use a reminder in a positive way of who they are, or would receive when you say thank you for doing something. Who of us is not taking that in, I think, in some way, whether we verbalize back or not, who can't use a little bit of lifting up? And so this week, when we think about Thanksgiving, we're often reminded of this sense of gratitude, this sense of thankfulness. And what I think we want to do in this 10-minute tune-up is both share about what thanking people can look like for what they do, and then affirmations, thanking them for who they are. And so when we think about better together, when we think about being united, I mean, I'll even start at that first one of thanking people for what they do. Even at that level, even though it's not speaking to who they are, it still makes an impact. I think about the times in my life where someone has thanked me for doing something and how it lifts me up. I think about it times where someone served in a community that I'm in and I've shot a simple text to them saying thank you, and I can tell the difference that it makes. It brings us together. It helps spurs somebody on when you can thank them even for what they're doing to continue to do what they're doing and to continue at it, to keep bringing themselves, to keep going for it. As we talked about last week, the sense of just going for it. When we thank people, it helps people to continue to engage, I think, and engage in community, engage in team. Ian, when you now think about affirmations in this sense of thanking people for who they are, how can you also see that impacting this sense of unity and being better together?
Yeah, I remember, for years I did a lot of work with volunteer leaders, and we would always talk to them about how to really continue to build your volunteer team up. And there is a big difference between thanking someone for what they do and affirming them for who they are.
Yes.
And I think thanking them for what they do is a great starting point, but you want to move it to who they are. So for example, Thanksgiving, Aunt Molly creates an awesome Thanksgiving meal and you really enjoy it. You can say, hey, Molly, thank you so much for this great meal, for all your hard work, for everything you did with it. It was so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But when you shift it to, Molly, you are such a servant and you always are giving to our family in such a powerful way that what you do makes such a difference for our family. And I appreciate that, but I appreciate even more who you are. The fact that you're a servant, that you love us, that you care about us. Man, like that takes it to another level. And that's what we want to encourage you to do today. I think we all, in some ways, we can tend to thank people real easily for what they do. But what we want to challenge you to do today is if you're really going to be a champion for unity, and you're going to really help build stronger teams, stronger families, stronger marriages, you've got to start looking beyond what people do to who they are. You've got to recognize those attributes, affirm them for them, and build them up in that. And as you do, you'll notice the connection between you, the respect will grow and it'll deepen. And that's what we want for you. We don't want your marriages and your families to just be about what people are doing. We really want to help build others up for who they are and who they can be. And when you speak those kind of words, it just helps people recognize even things in themselves that they didn't realize were there.
So good. I think what you hit within that, Ian, and what came to mind is that both thanking people for what they do and who they are positive.
Yes.
And good things. What thanking people for what they do can do is show acknowledgement. You acknowledge that they're there. And that has a value to it. And yet we can challenge ourselves, as you said, to then even press deeper. And now we're pressing deeper into people being seen. We start to share about who they are. Affirming them for who they are really helps them to even a deeper sense that they are seen. And that also does wonders when you think about what it means for unity within family, unity within coworkers, unity within your friends, unity at your job. You can change an atmosphere and you could change a person in that moment by affirming them for who they are. You can feel sometimes you can even see their physical posture change when you do so. And that's a level of connection that now comes, and that can open up the door for this sense of being better together. Because you free them, you open them up. There's a new way that maybe even they see you in the midst of that because you saw them, and there's a deep value to that.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that even in the context of a marriage. All day long, you can take out the trash, you can cook meals, you can do shopping, you can make beds, you can clean the house, you can do all these things, and you can thank people for them, and that they do need to be acknowledged for that. Yeah. But when you want to take your marriage deeper, you want to take your family deeper, you start talking about those unique attributes that the other people have that you don't have, that you are grateful for, and that you respect and you admire. It changes the complexion of the relationship, right? Yeah. It takes it to another place. And so many times we don't get there. We don't get there on a team. We don't get there in our families. We don't get there in our community. And so some of what it takes to be able to get there is to be fully present and to look for those things. If we're honest, a lot of times we don't look for those things in other people because all we're really thinking about is ourselves and our agenda. And it's easy to be thankful for what people do for you because who's that about? It's about you. You did that and I appreciated it. But when you start looking beyond that to who they are, now you're starting to think about them and who they are. And you're starting to speak into that. And that creates a different kind of connectivity than if you don't. One of the shows I love to watch is A Football Life. I don't know if you've ever watched any of those.
Yep.
They do all these football life things on all these Hall of Famers. And what I like about those shows is that it's players talking in hindsight, talking about the attributes and the things they saw in their teammates. Now, in the midst of playing, in the midst of the heat, in the midst of the battle, I don't think they're having those conversations as much. But I wonder, what would it have been like if they did, right? And maybe sometimes they do. We don't know, but it's so cool in that show to hear people affirm, thinking back and affirming their teammates for who they were, not what they did, who they were. And it's really powerful. And I think it can be powerful in our lives right now if we'll take a chance to look for those opportunities.
Well, I think you set that up.
Such a great time to do it, right, Daniel?
Yeah, you set that up perfect. I think the challenge, the takeaway that we want you to have, and us as well with you, is with this being Thanksgiving week, every day this week, think about somebody in your life that you could affirm. And I think what we leave you with too, from what Ian just said, even if that means it needs to start with tomorrow, you need to be observant of who you're around and looking at people to see who they are, and then deciding how it is that you want to affirm them. Take that step. Be observant, see who they are, see something that stands out, affirm them. We get to Wednesday, we get to Thursday, we get to Friday, we get to Saturday. Do it every day this week. Look for that opportunity and see how that changes the complexity of the relationships that you have. We send you out with that challenge. And Ian, would you real quickly remind people of who's coming on an interview next month for us?
Yeah, man. Next month, we've got an interview with Christine Nolf, amazing woman, leader, great marriage, incredible family, leader in the community. And she has done affirmations to kids in the community. And now they've grown into adults and it's changed their lives. So you're not going to want to miss the interview with Christine Nolf at the beginning of the month. So first Monday of December is going to be Christine Nolf. Don't miss it. But thanks for tuning in today. We're so glad you're here. And we hope that you can affirm someone every day from here on out. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. If there's anything you heard today that was helpful to you, that you think might be helpful to somebody else,
please like, subscribe, and share this podcast so we can help others be better together as well.